Very beautifully prepared. Thank you so much for that very fine performance of this piece. Class, can you tell us what the meter of the piece is by having listened to it? Some of you may have played this before, but for those of you who have never played it, what meter? What is the time signature? Can you tell? You can, it's okay. Any ideas? Tell them what the meter is. What's the time signature? Okay. And what's the tempo indication? Adagio. So she has a 2/4 here, marked adagio. And sometimes when you have adagios like this, you can think of it, you can think of it in a different way. Have you ever practiced it or thought about playing it in 4/8 versus 2/4? It will help you get to the feeling of the depth of the expression and to the feeling of the more of the feeling of the adagio. It should be a moving 4/8, but play it again and see if so your tempo. But let's think of it in 4. Not only in the theme, but throughout the whole. Just go back through it and count it like through in 4/8. See if that does anything for you from the point of view of expression. Now, throughout the piece, we have these dotted rhythms. And you almost always shortchange the dotted note. Whether it's a 16th or later on we have dotted eighths, yours are just slightly short. Okay, so hold these a bit longer. And the other thing you have to really watch out for, the note after the dotted note, it's so easy to play it too loud, and you almost always do. Okay, so make sure that short note is really lighter than the main principal note. Can you play right there, please? Good. Okay, you played them differently. The first one was shorter, the second one was longer. This is a very classical figure. Yum, ba-bum, ba-bum. It's been a long time since composers used that kind of a rhythm. It's got a regal quality, a noble quality. It's not part of our really contemporary times. So you have to kind of get back into yum, da-da, da-da. There's a character with it. Try it. Good. And each are exactly the same. Bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Go ahead. Good. And then you have these all over the place, right? Make them all the same. And sometimes you were tempted to like stretch it a little bit or do a little rubato or whatever. Not with the basic rhythm. There's ways you can do it around it, but always yum, ba-bum. That's how it goes, okay? So no variation yet. If you look at measure 10, notice the crescendo doesn't start until measure 11. I know it's tempting to want a crescendo and go up like this. Maybe go the other direction. Go away. So your soft is here. Then you can have a very successful crescendo in the next measure. Want to try it? To say overall, we're talking a bit about rhythm now and some dynamics, but I think your basic sound can be a little healthier, a little more projected. You are in a concert hall. A man writes cantabile, so we need a kind of a singing quality. So you can turn it up a little bit, okay? Don't be too shy. Okay, there's just so many things I want to talk to you about, but we have very limited time, so let's just kind of... The other thing I want to mention in general, you should maybe do some reconsideration of your pedaling. This is a very live hall, right? You can almost play concerts here without any pedal at all. It would sound really good. So this is very live hall, but in general, when you have a lot of this type of figuration, going on like in this first variation, boy, you don't have to use much pedal there. I want you to go from here? You can, use pedal at the beginning of this bar, but when you get into starting to come down, try the second half of the bar there with no pedal at all. Would you try? Yeah, that's gonna be okay. And if you want to put just a very short, like a 30-second note length pedal on these, that's fine. Which is touch, 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 touch. But not long all the way through. It's just not necessary. Particularly when figuration is coming down. Look at measure 7. And then you have that scale coming down. As soon as the scale starts coming down, get your foot off the pedal. Good. And then when the chromatic scale goes up, don't use it until the very end of the chromatic scale. As we all know, when you go up on the piano, you can use more pedal than when you go down. And a long thing like that may be near the end, okay? All right, so I think you understand the concept, so think about that. Another place you're kind of crescendoing too soon, look at bar 13. You make a very healthy crescendo there, but there isn't one. If you look at the material before you have a repetition, okay, and then he repeats it, make the repetition an echo, so then you'll be softer, okay? Then you'll be at your softest to start the crescendo in the following bar. Can you start playing measure 12? Just one small criticism on the rhythm. You were doing great with your and then you decided to make a little bit slower on that last. Try to avoid that. It's not the stop. But if you decide, well, I need to take just a little time there, fine. Use it in the rest before. So delay the rest a little bit, but make the relationship always the same. Okay. Get off the pedal, with the scale pedal. Good. Okay, let's move on to the next variation. Would you open it again? Play it from the top for me. Play. Okay. Composers use the notation that we have for the music that we play. It's always just an approximation of what it's really supposed to sound like. You have to kind of use your instinct and your ear. The way you're playing the rhythm isn't quite right. It's got to have this kind of like riding horses business. Use your ear. That's better. So there's more space in the figure. And here's the same business of a dotted value with the short note afterward. Make sure the short note is always softer than the decay of the long note, right? And that dotted eighth is longer. Bum, 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 bum. That's good. So take it, because he sets mono treble. So cool it. Yum, bum, 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 bee. Okay? All right. Now, I kind of got lost the meter. A measure 11, 12, I couldn't tell what was going on. This is a very noisy kind of a halt. I don't think I'd make quite such a big crescendo there, because it just gets kind of rattling. I couldn't tell what the beat was. Can you go from, right there, please, go ahead. Yeah, it happens more here. Right there. Make sure the second one. That's right, yeah. Not too big of an accent, but just make sure the meter is clear there. And here measured 20. I'm sorry, make sure you have a good slur. Yeah, I guess it's the staccato making you doing that, but I think the second chord is lighter than the first, so staccato, release it, but that's better, the other direction. Okay, I think the pacing between the variations that you did was excellent, how much time you waited, except for this one. I think I would wait a little longer before starting variation 3. Let the mood dissipate a little bit. before you begin. Here's another pedaling issue. At measure 12, you see, make sure you get your foot off the pedal there. Don't hold that left hand D into the next. Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, can you do a couple measures? Maybe start measure 10 or something like that. Exactly. Now, the fourth variation, I could not really tell that it was a minuetto. Would you do me a favor? Stand up, please. Look at your score. And would you conduct the first 2 or 3 bars? Pretend like here's your orchestra. Conduct. I mean, your tempo and everything. Here we go. Starting again, I got lost from the top. You have an upbeat? Go ahead. Okay, even watching or conducting, I can't tell if the meter is too much. It's like minuet, 3/4 right, so yum, but 2. Did you go to the dancing class yesterday? Oh, you should have gotta go to the dancing class. This is a dance. Yum, but bum. Play it so I can tell it's a dance. Here we go. Good, and one pedal suggestion might also help. Make sure that this E flat doesn't bleed into this. Can you Good. Okay, so remember that as you go through make sure it has that dance feel and the meter is clear. Here we go again, next one, number 5, with our dotted rhythm, right? Make sure that it's done rhythmically correctly, and at the 30-second, it doesn't get too loud. Okay, try. What I would do is you can sub here. Nothing down here. You're using some pedal here. We'll never hear it. This is staccato. It's low. So yeah, let's put it there. Go ahead. Yeah. Can you play this right-hand part without the pedal? Let me just hear this. Yeah. Why don't you stay in the key on this dotted 16 a little bit more? You should be playing most of this music here in the keys, not with the hands off the keyboard. Good, that's nice. Good. And the more you learn to play in the key like that, the less pedal you'll need. It doesn't mean that you can't use a little bit, but nothing down here because we couldn't hear you. Now, the one probably last thing I have time to say, why do you make such a cello rondo in measure 12, 13? You're nervous? It could be you're nervous, or the music does get more exciting. There's sforzatos and it's growing. But generally in this style of Beethoven, we wouldn't use that type of an cello rondo in this particular place. Can you go from there and then try not to speed up? Way out. And measure 22, again, maybe a little bit less pedal. You can use it, but you kind of held the pedal for 3 bars. I don't know about that. How about just changing the pedal on the long note? So have it down to start, change, 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 change. Try that, just change the chords. Good. And you'll have more control of your pianissimo if you can stay in the key. Get in here. Don't let the keys come back up. Get in the keyboard. Good. Good. And you can also experiment with some different fingerings, like 2, 1, 2. You're trying to use the same finger on each repeated note, which is, you can do it. you know, but sometimes try a 2, 1, 2. A lot of pianists playing repeated notes, we should use different fingers so that the action repeats. And then the last one you play well, the sixth variation, but I think it could be a little friendlier. It's allegretto, and when you get to the octaves coming down, it should never sound virtuosic. It should be light, friendly, you know. And before the last adagio molto, take a lot more time, you know, a lot more time, okay, than you did. And then definitely 4/8, he wants it really slow, so a slow 4/8 when you get there, you know, at the end. Here, you might want to lift your pedal a little sooner. In bar 49, you see there were those registers, a little release of the pedal. And just one final remark, and then I'll be quiet. Keep those rhythms. Yeah, so that rhythm is throughout the piece. Love to hear you playing this piece. Thanks for sharing it with us.